Hi guys, today we're trying to watch scary videos. Don't watch alone. Oh my god, all of these are so scary. Yo. Oh, I know something. It's an anime. It's an animation and stuff. This is gonna be scary.
It was about late November in Colorado, and I was about 7 or 8. My father got the idea of taking us all for a weekend to a cabin that he was going to rent. My mother thought it was a great idea for me, my sister, and my father and my mother to bond. So that's exactly what happened. We rented a cabin for a few days. We took school off on Friday to get a head start getting there, which I absolutely had no issue with. We got there and it was sure cold. Well, it was almost December, so I guess it made sense that it was that cold.
Exactly.
Anyways, we got all set up and decided where we would sleep. We ate dinner and then we got all set up for bed, and we were just thinking about what we would do tomorrow. We got there kind of late, so we couldn't do much on the first day. That first night though, I heard noises outside. It sounded kind of like footsteps. I looked out the window and saw nothing, so I figured it must have been an animal. I just tried to get back to sleep, but about 15 minutes later I heard it again. I woke my sister up, which she was about 11 at the time, and she heard it as well. We both walked over to the window and saw something out there.
I'm not looking at this. This is scary.
We weren't quite sure.
Bro, I'm right at the corner of my bed, and I'm in the closet. It's literally open, so I'm about to close that. Good thing my brother is here. This is so scary.
Sure what it was. We decided it'd be best for us to not see us, so we went back to sleep. I had a hard time sleeping that night, and so did my sister. When we eventually woke up, my mother was inside making breakfast and my father was outside. I asked my mom if I could go outside with my dad, and she told me sure, while my sister stayed inside and waited for my mother to finish breakfast. I walked outside and my father was talking to some man, a short, chubby man. He had a shaved head and was wearing a veteran cap. He looked really nervous too, for some reason. He was sweating a lot, even though it was freezing outside. I walked over to him and my father, and my dad looked at me and said, "Oh, this is my son," and told him my name. The man then looked at me and said, "Hey, nice to meet you, kid. My name's Patrick."
Patrick Mahomes?
He just smiled and looked at
Patrick Mahomes sucks, bro.
me. I also smiled and greeted him back, and maybe it was rude at the time, but I was just a kid, so I asked him, "You look kind of scared. Are you alright?" And he kind of coughed and replied with, "Oh yeah, I'm fine. I just went through shell shock, because I'm a veteran," as I couldn't tell already with the cap that he was wearing, but he seemed normal then. My father seemed to really like this guy for some reason, and I guess at first I liked him too. He told my father he had also rented a cabin with his family, and that they were really close to us, so he decided to introduce himself. My father invited him inside for breakfast, and he stayed, and everything was normal. I went outside to play after that with my father and Patrick. While playing outside, I fell and scraped my knee and started crying. My dad was inside at the time, which was a bad time for him to be inside. My mother was calling for him, and he ran inside while I was out there with Patrick. Patrick then ran over to me and told me to come with him to his cabin because he had band-aids. I agreed and I went with him. I wasn't a very smart kid. We talked about what I liked doing, and I told him about the video games that I played and stuff like that. Then things got weird. He asked me what shoe size I was, and how old I am. Didn't know my shoe size, so I told him that, but I told him my age. He just kind of chuckled and said something along the lines of, "Good to know." Also, his cabin was nowhere near ours. It was way back, at least 20 minutes to walk there. I was tired, and there was no point in getting the Bandit anymore, but I still decided to keep going since I had walked too long. We entered the cabin, and he told me to go in first, so I did. As soon as I walked in, I realized something. There was nobody in there. No family. I asked him where his family was, and he didn't answer, pretending like he didn't hear me. He then locked the door. I was starting to feel frightened. He told me,
Are you serious right
"I'll be
now?
right back with the Band-Aid, kiddo." He then walked into the kitchen and pulled one out of somewhere, and then walked back and told me to have a seat and that he'd put it on. I sat down, he put it on me. He also held my leg with his other hand and rubbed up and down and told me, "You're rather muscular, kid. I like that." I kind of got scared and I immediately stood up. He asked me what was wrong and I told him nothing and that my leg was feeling much better. He then said that I thought my parents would be worried sick about me and that I should hurry back, but he insisted that I stayed a little longer and ate there. I really didn't want to, but I was alone, and if I ran, I don't think I could find my way back to the cabin. The door was locked too, so I just agreed and
Why does his eye look like a shotgun gun?
decided to eat with him and get it over with fast. He asked me how much I weighed, and I guessed about 70 pounds. He then had a smile go across his face. He nodded and said, "Perfect weight." I asked him what that meant, and he just kept smiling at me. I was really weirded out when I asked him if I could go. He told me no, and that things were just getting started, and I shouldn't miss out on the fun. He had such a weird tone when he said that, too. I then heard a big bang come from the bedroom.
I'm so scared, bro. I feel like there's something behind my TV, bro. My TV is right, like, in the corner right there. Like, my TV is right over there in the corner.
It was a closed door. Patrick stood up and looked kind of angry. He walked into the room and shut the door behind him, and I heard him yelling, "Did I tell you that you could move? No, stay where you are, I have company," or something like that. He then walked out with a smile on his face and shut the door slowly. "Sorry about that, that was just my wife. She's really sick and not allowed to be near visitors today." He was smiling while saying that also. I really wanted to go, and I looked around the room and noticed there were clothes everywhere. It was really messy. He must have been living out of here.
No.
At that moment, his wife walked out of the room. "I'm hungry," she said.
Not trying to be rude, but... Man, what the hell is that?
At this point, the man looked pissed.
Oh?
That's when he yelled, "Get back in there." His wife was extremely pale and looked like she had been crying a lot. She was sniffing and had red circles around her eyes. She looked at me, then walked back in the room. I asked him where his kids were, and he didn't answer. He told me that he had kids' clothes that he wanted me to try on, and that was the last straw for me. I had to get out of that situation, and I didn't know how.
Okay, this is what I'll do. Get the chair. Guys, I'm not like the wind is so strong. My neighbor, my backyard roof is literally coming off right now. It's like half of it is like this. It's like half of it's like this. It's like going like that. Like, yo, the trees are crazy.
I started crying, and then he hugged me. He told me it'll be okay. Nothing is going to happen, and just try on the clothes. He walked in the back room, and I thought this would be the perfect time
They both say the back rooms.
for me to leave.
Oh, I think my next video should be reacting to Backrooms. Yeah.
Locked his door and I tried to leave as quietly as I could. I didn't even care if I got lost anymore. I just didn't want to take any more chances with Patrick. If that was even his name. I had a feeling that he had been lying. I mean, he lied about having kids, so who knows what else. I was in the woods trying to find my way back.
Why you run like that, bro? Come on, that.
I was still close to his house. Close enough to hear his shouting. I heard him yelling stuff to his wife. Things along the lines of, where the hell did he go? And I knew I shouldn't have left him alone. You probably let him leave. I could have sworn I heard him call her a few nasty names a couple times. Then it happened. I stopped in my tracks. I heard footsteps. I went and hid behind a tree and looked.
You're cooked. Hey, bruh. Is there something in here? I'm grabbing my mom's remote for the TV. I am throwing it at the person's head. And then I'm gonna beat his up with this fist. Because I am scared. Let's just get started with the video because this thing is like 1 hour, so I'm not trying to yap.
This direction. And there he was, standing outside, and he seemed to be looking for me. I was far enough away to where I could barely see him, but I could tell he was looking for me. He then stepped out in the forest and I heard him shouting, "Hey kid, it's okay, you can come back now."
Yeah, I'm really good right now. Oh my god.
Boy's back in my cabin. All you have to do is come back.
All you have to do is come back.
Then started running. I just ran as fast as I could in a straight line in hopes to find somebody in my family. I was running away and I thought I heard shouting, but I didn't stop to hear it. Then after about an hour of running, I finally saw a cabin. It was my cabin. I ran to it. My father was outside looking around for me. I ran up to him crying and told him Patrick wasn't a good guy and that he was really weird and how he was touching my legs and stuff. My father immediately called the person he rented the cabin from. My father looked at me and told me to never follow any stranger ever again. He immediately left that day and asked for a refund the next day. The guy renting them out apologized. The man that owned the cabin rentals called the police and they went back there and checked the cabin and there was nobody back there, not even his wife. His clothes and belongings were still there is what they told us, but nothing really happened after that. They asked questions and left, and they never called us or told us anything about him ever again. Patrick most likely wasn't his real name, and he probably wasn't a veteran. I just want to know what happened to him and his wife, and how he even got a wife in the first place, and how and why he lived back in that cabin.
That is not his wife.
He seemed to have lived there for a while. I guess he left because he figured the police would be coming after him since he didn't rent the cabin. So many questions that will never get answered. My friend Lily has a cabin on a lake in Washington, and one summer
bro, this is a guy that's making 22 horror animated. He loves cabins, bro. The second story is a cabin again.
She brought me and her cousin Evan. It had been a great couple of days, and on the last night, like we had the past few nights, we went fishing at the lake, which was only a 5-minute walk from her cabin. It was around 7 p.m., and fishing was perfect at that hour. To get to the beach, though, you had to walk through a small section of woods.
Fishing is perfect at that hour?
Was occupied by women jogging with strollers, and kids running to another nearby beach. Our beach was a bit more secluded, and there was no trail to get there. The hill down was steep and slippery, and on the way back, it took climbing on all fours to get to the top. We stayed at that beach until about 8:30, just sitting in the dark relaxing.
8:30? My guy, you're that hungry that you want more fish?
We were pretty good kids, and mostly just sat on a log chatting. It was one of those weird situations where you suddenly look around and you realize that it's gotten dark. I told...
It's 8 p.m. Of course it's gonna be dark.
Lily and Evan that we should probably get home. They agreed and we packed up our gear. This was the latest that we had stayed out at the beach, so my overactive and scary movie-powered imagination, I was a little bit scared. We calmly and silently.
Huh? I'm making a video right now, bro. Be quiet.
Of what?
This is 23 horror stories. I'm just gonna do 3 horror stories and then I'm gonna finish and I'm gonna make a cover. And it shows my webcam. It shows my face, so that's good.
Yeah, but it's gonna be ass and it's copyrighted too. You're gonna give like credit and stuff.
Shut up, Michael. Leave the door open.
Only for some reason walked up the hill. I told him that it was pretty creepy here at night, and then Evan made it 10 times worse. He told us a story about these mountain men who had been around in the 60s and were basically these men who lived in the woods and were.
God, why are you so dumb? So, like, you're in the woods right now at nighttime, and you're talking about woodmen that gets people at nighttime. That's like it.
They were in some sort of cult. He said that they had murdered people all over the area.
I'm scared.
For their cult, and some of them were still around. Internally, I was
Boy, like you made it worse. Some of them are still around.
hysterical and terrified. But externally, I basically told Evan to shut up and to stop trying to scare us. As we started to go up the trail, Evan looked to our right for some reason.
No. Why are you looking at me like that? Kid, no. Why? So why are you looking at me like that? Like, he was like this. I'm not looking.
He stopped dead in his tracks and looked scared. Lily told him to stop being stupid, and the two of us started to climb the steepest part, the all-fours climbing part of the hill. Evan grabbed us both by the arm very forcefully and made
No, bro. No, please just go to the mountain, bro. I'm scared.
us look where he was looking. At first I couldn't see anything, and I just wanted to get home. But then my eyes adjusted, and I saw a large man.
Oh, hell no.
I'm assuming he was a man because of the shape. Stumbling toward us pretty slowly.
No.
Who knows what his intentions were,
skip
but
that.
being kids, we freaked out.
That's the end of the video, guys. I hope you liked it.